Dramatic revelations from over the weekend. Turns out the NSA is also spying on Spain. Washington. I didn't see that coming. I thought they were just going to spy on everyone else. Now, we had already found out that they had spied in on, at least in 1 month alone, 70 million French telephone calls. Well, now it turns out it's add another 60 million in Spanish calls. So Spain, France, and then of course we also knew that they had spied in on not just Germany, but specifically Angela Merkel, who is the head of that country. She seems to be quite upset by it. And of course, so are the leaders of France and Spain. And President Obama has had to go out and say, I didn't know we were spying. Hablo no español. Ich nicht comprende. I believe I combined several languages there in ways that did not really make sense. All right, nonetheless, we move forward. Speaking of not making sense, Mike Rogers is the head of the Intelligence Committee in the House. And he's saying, look, all these revelations about France, Spain, and you're getting it all wrong. I love this quote. He says, they're seeing 3 or 4 pieces of a 1,000-piece puzzle and are trying to come to a conclusion. In other words, you've only seen the 3 or 4 countries we've been spying on, when in fact we've been spying on hundreds of countries and thousands of different areas we've been going after. World leaders, politicians, our own citizens, your citizens. So you only see 3 or 4 pieces of the puzzle, thanks to Edward Snowden. God damn Snowden! Right? When in reality, we're doing it to everybody. And then he also hinted at the rest of the European nations knowing that anyway. They said, look, if their governments don't know it, certainly their spying agencies know it. Which is kind of an interesting thing, because now we have our government intimating that our political leaders didn't know about it, and the political leaders of other so-called democracies didn't know about it either. Then who the hell are running these countries? I would think that that was actually a larger problem than the spying in the first place. If it turns out in a democracy, none of the people we elected actually have a clue as to what's going on, and the spies are spying in on all of them, well, then there's a case to be made that they're not really running the country. So, and like I said, keep in mind that this is just 1 month of info. So on a different month, we could have been spying in on 50 million calls, 70 million calls, whatever it might be in Spain. In just this one revelation in El Mundo, co-written by Glenn Greenwald, of course, we find out about the 60 million. So then our ambassador has to be stepped in, because this is great. You know, when these countries get mad, this is diplomatic speak, and I'm amused by it. They say, we're calling in your ambassador. So the ambassador, U.S. ambassador, has to go in and be, in essence, publicly spanked. Like, no, I do declare, I'm calling you in, but I'm going to grab you by your ear. And then what happens? Not a damn thing, right? So U.S. Ambassador James Costos was called in to talk to the authorities in Spain, or to the government in Spain. But he came out and had this quote. He said, programs referred to in the media are national security programs that have played a critical role in protecting the citizens of the United States. They have also played an instrumental role in our coordination with our allies and in protecting their interests as well. So, in other words, hey, listen, man, let's keep it real, okay? You think your government didn't know about this? They knew about it, okay? We told them we're doing this in coordination with you, and then they have to pretend to be outraged when these documents are revealed. Is that true? It's very hard to tell, right? But either way, one thing we do know, the American government is spying in on all of you. It's not just an American problem, it's an international problem. But don't worry, they say that they'll only use the information in the case of terrorists. I'm sure that's true. I'm sure they were tapping Angela Merkel's phone just in case the leader of Germany turned out to be a terrorist. Two more amusing things about this. Number one, the spy agencies are very upset. So they are sending in okay, here, let me actually read you the quote. It's graphic number 9 here. Germany will send its own spy chiefs to the United States next week to demand answers. Our spies demand answers to your spies. Well, that's amusing. Okay, and by the way, the French have been spying in on us forever. Don't make the mistake of thinking that these guys have clean hands. And have they stolen business secrets before? Of course, let alone anything else. So it's a huge part of this, by the way, one set of corporations trying to steal the corporate secrets of other sets of corporations? You betcha. What do you think the NSA works for? You and me, the American people? Good one, good one. Speaking of funny quotes, my favorite here. To the Wall Street Journal, they explain that this has nothing to do with Edward Snowden. No. Quote, an internal review by the administration turned up NSA monitoring of 35 world leaders, confirming a report in The Guardian citing a memo leaked by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden that revealed the phone conversations of 35 foreign leaders were tracked by the agency. Do you understand that? So an internal report happened to indicate at the same exact time the 35 leaders were being spied upon, and President Obama didn't know that? And it had nothing to do with Snowden revealing that those 35 leaders were being spied on. What a wild coincidence. At the same time, they had done an internal report and revealed the same thing to the president in the nick of time. If you're a so-called reporter and you bought that pile of steaming crap, well, you're a stenographer for the government. You don't even know it. Okay? You don't even know it. Oh, at the same time we found out, we just released it to the public. Oh, did Snowden release it too? Crazy coincidence. Yeah, I'm sure it was. But Snowden is a villain. Can you believe he shared this with the American people and the people of the world? I mean, you can see how he's hurt our interests. We're going to reveal that information anyway.